get started tonight in part 2 of Pulling Down Strongholds. And tonight I want to introduce you to something that is very powerful. And you know that I'm a certified practitioner in NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Wish they wouldn't call it programming because that sounds a little weird, but it's retraining your brain language is what it is. Neuro meaning brain, linguistic meaning language. We train ourselves with our words. Our parents trained us with their words. And whomever else we came in contact with in our formative years, they were playing into that part of us that was linguistic. We think in words, we live in words. And so it's important that we understand how our words affect us and others. But there's a particular term, I thought it was kind of funny when someone brought this up, and Carol, what's that mean? I said, shh, we're going to cover it later. So here it is. This is an NLP term. T-R-A-N-S. What's that mean? Transportation. Transcontinental. Okay. Means across or beyond. So it's something that is on the other side of or far away, like transcontinental airlines, that kind of thing, goes across the whole continent. So trans means across, beyond, through, or on the other side of. And then there's this part. This is pretty big, so I don't know if I'll be able to fit it on there. D-E-R-I-V-A-T-I-O-N-A-L. What's that say? Derivational. Transderivational. Derived from. So something from across time, you've pulled something out, you've derived something from somewhere. And then this word. Do you remember asking the question, Carol? She said, what's that? Transderivational search. Okay, so it's a very important word because what happens within us, within our minds, within our being, is that internally, unconsciously, something in the present triggered something, an emotion from the past, a reaction from the past, and unconsciously linked it to this current situation. So, let's just give a simple example. If you got burned somehow, then there was a lot of, there could have been emotions connected to that and feelings to that. So in the future, when it comes, anything might cause you to feel those feelings again, a feeling of fear or, stay away from the heat or whatever. It feels to you as if it's happening all over again. So it feels like that event, everything from that event is pulled into the current event, even though they don't seem to be connected. So when something in the present triggers excessive emotion, it could be that an unresolved trauma from your past is trying to surface so you can get beyond it. It's an opportunity. Think of it as an opportunity. Some traumas have layers and must be worked through in layers. we can't necessarily work through everything, you know, all in one big chunk. When a current event evokes this kind of intense response, it's called, in NLP terms, a transderivational search. So part of you connected this upset that I'm feeling feels the same as that upset, and I pull all the emotion from that upset into this current moment, though this current moment really has nothing to do with it, in the sense of being that big. So, in other words, something, the pain from the past or something from your past has been transferred to the present because the present reminded you of the old unresolved pain. Something reminded you. Does everyone know what the amygdala is in the brain? It's kind of a primitive part of your brain, and it's really the emotional center of the brain. It kind of codes things rather than remembers in all these specifics, but it's the part of your brain that will alert you to be cautious and or more careful or stand back. It's more a feeling, the emotional feeling of it. So your internal radar, caused by the amygdala, made the association between that long ago event and the one at hand. Unburied it, and your strong reaction is in fact derived from the earlier trauma, the earlier event. Is this making sense? So that you can react today as if your dad just knocked you across the room. The same feelings, same everything that makes you back away and run or whatever, but really what you're feeling is out of proportion to what just happened. So it can be triggered to where part of you it's wanting to react, wanting to protect you, but you need to minimize, recognize what's happening, because that means there's still a wound between that event and the past. So your strong reaction is derived from an earlier traumatic event, and just keep in mind that you can stack events. You know, maybe you had that same thing happen repeatedly, so that reinforces it. So you become more hyper, sort of like an allergic reaction, that you get around something that feels at all similar and you have that reaction and you can't figure it out. So having this awareness come to you that transderivational search actually takes you back to a place that was painful. So what we want to do is you can learn to cause your own transderivational search to where you can figure out a situation that was very painful for you and you do change work on it. That's what your handout's going to be about this time, is how to do that change work, how to get it to a place where you can take a look at it and use all your senses.